So the only other game I played of interest is Final Fantasy 15, which I beat.
Oh yeah,
and
No spoilers.
No, there will be no spoilers. I will talk about things only in the Vegas mechanical terms. So, Chapter 13 is quite bad. It has, however, been way overstated with how bad it is. Like, it's fine, right? It's like it's too long, and it's not that great of an idea. But people acting like it's game ruining are ridiculous. You guys are crazy.
Okay.
That being said, that game has this. So it's big open world, super fun game. That game has the hardest right turn into what clearly used to be a completely different game, top to bottom, I have ever seen.
What was it?
It's you see it. You get to Altissia, right? That fancy city that you're going there, and the instant you set foot there, you're playing versus. You are clearly
going back to what it used to be.
Going back to playing versus.
Okay.
And
holy shit, it's just like the half of the game that they worked on, and just like, the
story becomes a very different story. Massive plot holes start appearing out of all sorts of places where from scene to scene you're going, wait, didn't that guy? No, but wasn't he? And someone goes, no, shut up, though.
Does it increase in how quickly plot is delivered at that point?
It becomes completely linear and becomes all plot.
Whoa. Because
it's a reverse Final Fantasy 13.
Whoa, really?
Okay,
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sorry, do you guys
Are you the type of guy that likes games with story?
I do, and I actually, and I think that this game has a decent story that is told very poorly. So, you get to these parts where a cutscene's happening, and important things are occurring, and I'm being told they're important, and there were these characters that I'm being told are important, and I feel nothing because these characters have actually only been in 2 cutscenes for the entire game, and I go, they didn't have time to actually go and
flesh these people out.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about because I'm right about there. Yeah,
like they literally just didn't have time to do this. There are characters that change their motivations off screen with no reason.
Damn,
like they walk off a villain and come back an ally. And there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
Do it live.
And you're like, wait, what? Okay, fine. There is, but more depressing than that is that after Altissia, you get onto a train, and then you hop around a bunch of locations that aren't on the primary map, right? And it's a train ride, and you get to literally ride by the second and third and fourth maps that the game was supposed to have. Like you can look out the window, and the train ride takes place in real time as you move super fast through these 100 square kilometer areas that are clearly rendered in proper LOD, and you can see cars driving and all sorts of stuff, and you're like, this was clearly supposed to be a full big second map or third map, and it hurts. It really, really hurts. And then Chapter 13 is a downer because it's really slow and it's really boring. And then, above all expectations, the game ends really strong. It actually ends really, really strong. The last 2 hours of the game pull a bunch of cool things out of nowhere. Cool stuff happens. Characters do very interesting things that you wouldn't have expected. I was genuinely surprised at the direction that the game took. And then the final encounter and the final boss and everything to do with that is actually pretty awesome and sincere, and the story sticks its landing.
So what you're basically saying is that it was a giant hot mess.
It's a giant bolted together hot mess that
cleans up nice though.
That despite itself, when I beat the game, I was like, that was a good story. Now, I can see there's a billion things that got cut. In the early parts of the game, or in Brotherhood, there's this gimmick of, like, Noctis wants to sleep all the time, and the fucking city's called Insomnia, and there's all these puns all over the game. I don't know what that's about.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck that's about at all. And there's characters that you would be shocked how little overall, like, time they get. And there's characters that act in bizarre ways because the cutscenes that explain why they're upset are not in the fucking game.
Well, there's more coming. We know there's more coming. Because there's a season pass.
You can't. There's too much.
Okay.
That's gone. Like, okay, here's a very early game spoiler. It's in the end of Chapter 1. Noctis finds out something bad happened to a family member. And Gladio yells at him for being a pussy. Right? Mm-hmm. And you go, that's really extreme. Until you find out that the guy in Kingsglaive right next to Noctis's dad is Gladio's dad.
Okay.
But that is never, ever said or discussed in game.
Well, shit.
So when Gladio starts yelling at Noctis in that early chapter, you're like, what a jackass. It's like, no, wait, he's going through the same
exact same thing.
And that's why he's upset. And it's stuff like that. It's stuff like... It's there. It exists. It's on a document somewhere, but it's just not there.
You just have to accept it. That's what.
Is that the part where you can comfort him or tease him?
No, that's later. But yeah, no, the game's really strong. Villain ends up being like stellar.
Yeah,
like
say little, don't say much.
No, but the villain ends up like I was originally pretty unimpressed with where they were going. Up there with. One of my favorite Final Fantasy villains.
Great.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. Wow. Really good. Much better than like a Cypher or a Sephiroth or...
Ooh, ouch.
Like up there with Kefka, honestly.
My heart.
Are you guys at all interested, or do you think you're going to take a stab at it at some point?
This game?
15.
No,
no. Well, go ahead, Steve.
This game I don't know. I'm actually really curious about it now that Pat has even described it in detail of what it actually is. But I've never heard or seen this game before, but it does sound kind of busted, but interesting at the same time. Especially,
I mean, what he's not mentioning is that there's some really fun combat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The final encounters?
Is really fun combat.
Fucking thumbs up on what you do there.
Cool shit. Cool.
It's what you want, Wooly.
Yeah. No, I can already tell that the way things escalate in this game is like they get it. They understand how to make like cool.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, however you say that. They understand what what feels good to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without getting specific, I guess.
For me, like, I don't know. I got turned off by, like, it was just too different for me then. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to change.
Bands.
Like, you know, like the four characters. Like, I always like Final Fantasy. I like starting off maybe one person and two, and then you just kind of start meeting your mates across this vast world, and you learn shit about them. It's just a whole, hey, we're four best friends, and we start off from the beginning, and that's it. And they were just too like boy bandy.
It is written
similar.
Word on the street is you're a fan of Squall and that crew.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, we can just cut him from the rest of this call.
Word on the street.
We can just get him out of here. Get him out of here. Wooly cut him from the call.
Hey.
Right?
Hey,
Go ahead. I'm an 8 guy, and I mean, I love 7, but I just literally my thing of Final Fantasy 7 was just hanging out with my buddy while watching him play.
Okay.
And then I'm like, this is cool. I'm gonna get Final Fantasy 8, and I played it, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's funny because that specific thing about like having the crew immediately is actually something I adore about this game. Is how you actually don't waste time building up the party because they are the crew from moment zero.
So
they take a couple scenes to show them interacting with each other, and you get to that moment that you would be at maybe 7 hours into the beginning of another RPG.
I should mention, you do not start the game with the entire crew.
Okay, but
there are a couple extra people that hang out occasionally.
But I mean, it's not just Chrono and Luca running around, and then you wait for the rest to fall in.
Don't get me started on Chrono Trigger because that's the shit that I know about. Like when it comes to like Final Fantasy is just kind of not my thing.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That being said, I definitely don't mind when there's a traditional introduction of characters one by one as you go into their timeline or whatever the thing.
It has to be done right.
You know?
If they do it right, it's fucking fantastic. You know what I mean?
But
because you
yeah.
you get that sense of build. You actually become that character that gets to know these characters, as opposed to just, oh, they're all together, so now I have to like kind of understand why they're a group of friends that actually know each other and why they like each other, as opposed to you getting to know the characters and you become a part of that story because you're become a part of that friends that's with that character.
Yeah, I get that.
It's all about immersion. You know what
I feel like if they took the time to introduce like Noctis on his own and then slowly got you to go find each individual, it would have kind of betrayed what seems to be the theme of the game.
Yeah.
You know, which is the brotherhood, the friendship of this crew, and it starts on them pushing the car down the road with Stand By Me playing.
And talking shit.
You know, and like they very much like if you don't have that right away, then you have more of a feeling of this is Noctis and Noctis alone is the pillar of this story, and the other guys support him, but by introducing all of them at the same time, I think you kind of lend equal importance, despite the fact that you're controlling one of them.
I get what you guys are saying, but Wooly, what you're saying is pretty on point in that, like, that's why the ending sticks the landing, because even though the specifics of the plot and the villain and the overall narrative may be muddled and may have problems, the final bits of that game are about you and your guys.
Cool.
And so even like it's a very like the plot's kind of a mess in some spots. But because it's a character story, they get away with it. And there's a lot of really good character moments at the end. Probably the goofiest shit in the whole game, though, is I talked about it last week with Gladio, and then I saw the other two, in which it's shit like, oh no! Ignis fell off a cliff into the DLC truck. I guess we'll see you in an hour and a half, Ignis.
Right.
And it's really obvious.
Right.
It's really funny.
Yeah, whatever.
And then
like,
they come back and Noctis like, dude, what happened? I was in my own DLC.
I mean,
that's what happened to me.
It's still like that type of treatment, like leaves you with a lot more feeling for your fellow party members than say Chrono Cross. I think where
there's 100.
We don't talk about Chrono Cross. We don't talk about Chrono Cross.
I'll say right off the bat, Steve, I don't have the venom that everyone else has for that game. But,
Are you serious? Okay,
but I will. But I think that with that many party members, you get they're aiming for something else. But you don't get this whole tightness, I guess.
Yeah, you and your bros are really tight. It's very tight in there. No, seriously, the game really feels like it's written like a romantic visual novel for girls. And all you did was replace like the main heroine with Noctis. Like there's like you're having like rooftop conversations, like kicking your heels on like a motel, talking about feelings and shit. And it's really, really, really written like a romantic visual novel. Yeah. It's great. It's fucking great.
The thing is that you're right. It is like it feels like it's written for girls because it's like a boy band that's there, and it's like and they're perfect fucking looking dudes.
Hey bro, what's up? It's tight. It's tight, bro. Right? Yeah, it's tight. Let's watch some football. Yeah, bro.
You gelling?
Yeah, we gelling? Yeah. Oh man, your jacket looks really hot, bro. Yeah, you should take that off, bro.
Yeah, like it's hot.
Yeah, bro.
Jacket.
Bro. Football, bro.
Right.
Jacket.
Take it off slowly. Yeah.
And that was the other thing for me too. It was just like all the other Final Fantasies, you have these characters and they're like different archetypes and they're like different cool things. These guys just look too much this like, would fucking just
emo.
The fucking
emo, fucking boy band.
They look
it, but they're not.
Banana
Republic.
I made that mistake.
Yeah.
I made that mistake away early on in the game. I saw his haircut and I'm like, look at this motherfucker.
Look at this Sasuke Naruto loving
this fucking
punk-ass little bastard.
And it wasn't that. He wasn't that.
Noctis kind of a weirdo.
And I had to eat my words on it. Like, no, I judge the book by
They
the cover.
should have changed Nox design. The other guys are fine. but Nox's design is a little
you can't-
weird for his character.
You can't change their clothes, right? I saw the
Yeah, you
clothes
can make
change,
them, yeah.
and it wasn't that much of a difference.
Oh, I
It was-
played through the whole game in a fucking t-shirt and a baseball cap. And let me
Damn
tell
right.
you, there's a bunch of emotional scenes
That looks
did,
stupid.
that did not accommodate for wearing a baseball cap.
This big fucking goose vest.
Yeah.
right?
Goofy.
Dude,
Oh,
you gotta
man.
get in the crystal. You gotta get to the crystal. Yeah, I got it. And he's got this big fucking poofy jacket and his hat.
Oh man,
That's pretty much it for me.
Cool.
FF15 is a good but incredibly fucked up game.
You know what? That's pretty much it for Platinum.
What?
Or more specifically,